Hey everybody, Hoosier Jedi here with another review for you. This time talking episode 9 of season 5 of The Walking Dead called What Happened and What's Going On. And what's going on is that Tyrese is dead. I gotta say, like most people, I never imagined that they'd kill off a major character last episode and then they killed a major character off again this episode. Folks haven't dropped like this since Lori and T-Dog back in, season 3? Now, a lot of people I saw were complaining about that. They're saying, like, they do this just to shock us and surprise us, and, like, yeah, that's no doubt part of it. I mean, exactly what the hell show do you think you've been watching the last couple of years? And, have you read the comics? Because if you have, you know, oh my god, this character is dead, I didn't see that coming, is kind of common. I mean, seriously, what show do you think you're watching, people? So, yeah. And then the other thing I, of course, saw is a lot of people were complaining, like, oh, the black guy died again. I'm like, oh, for God's sake. Okay, let's see. So we got Michonne, we got Father Gabriel, we got Noah, we got Sasha, and even though he's not with the group, we also have Morgan bouncing around. And that's not accounting that there's also an Asian dude and a Hispanic lady in the group. So, look, I'm not saying that Walking Dead hasn't had its issues in terms of, you know, the racial dynamic of the group. Because I've been one of those people, and I've been reviewing this show since the very beginning, who has totally pointed out, hey, the black guy died again. But the show has definitely improved on that by quite a bit. I mean, literally, we've got 4 other black people who are in the group, one who is almost certainly going to join up by the end of the season. And yeah, we also lost Bob, but let's also not forget we also lost the pretty cute blonde girl. So seriously, folks, just because a character who is a minority dies on a show does not automatically make that death a bad thing, or even worse, somehow make the writers and people behind the show guilty of racism. I mean, seriously, in my book, if you're going to accuse somebody of racism, you are making an extraordinarily damning accusation towards that person's character. And I don't care what some stupid-ass sociology professor is pouring into the brains of undergrads out there. To me, when you say someone is a racist, that is what you mean. So, yeah, seriously, people, if you're going to make an accusation like that, you know, don't fling something like that around lightly. For God's sake. Really. Anyway, my hatred of sociology professors, endless though it is, we'll put that aside for the moment. And let's just kind of focus in a little bit more about what's going on this episode. Now, this is a pretty decent swan song for Tyrese. He gets that really awesome speech about his dad at the beginning. We see him, you know, sort of standing there, being there for Noah, who's kind of going through the worst moment of his life. And, you know, given how shit his life has been since the zombie apocalypse, this has got to be a real blow. And, of course, you know, seeing all the characters like, you know, Lizzie and Mika and Bob and Beth and even the friggin' governor. I about fell out of my chair when I saw the governor. I never in a million years would have thought that we would see him again. And okay, here I gotta admit that this there was some really I understand what they were going for. It's just they sort of pushed it a little too far with that stuff. But when we finally get to the point where, you know, Tyrese is dying in the back of the car, then it really works. You know, it's just sort of Tyrese is a good man in Martin. That was the guy that he killed from Gareth's group. Tyrese is, you know, dying there in the back of the car, and obviously way too late to save him with the amputation and all this other stuff. And you just get the sense that you know, he's just worn down. He knows that this is the end, and it's a question of, okay, do I struggle against the inevitable, or do I let go and move on to whatever comes next? And I really like the way they handled that scene, you know, with Lizzie and Mika kind of pulling at his arm, Beth driving the car, you know, Bob there with him as well. Obviously, he doesn't. The governor would not be there. I seriously doubt if there's an afterlife. Tyrese and the governor were heading to the same place. And another thing I like about that scene is if you see it when he's hallucinating Beth, for example, in the house, she has that wound on her head from where she was shot, but when she's in the truck and he's about to die, she's fine. Again, sort of just letting us know that Tyrese is going to be at peace. And yeah, that I think was reasonably well executed. Like I said, some of the dialogue and sort of like the governor rambling on about you've got a bill to pay. It's like that didn't really work for me. Honestly, my only real major problem with Tyrese's death, and keep in mind the actor that plays him has a major role in that film that's coming up that's kind of getting a good bit of buzz called The Expanse. So I have a feeling it's kind of like the situation with Emily Kenny, who wanted to focus in more on her music career. There's another aspect of their career that's really looking really promising, so it's just kind of time to step away. And the producers and all that just sort of let's make the best of this situation, and give the audience a sucker punch and remind them that you can't take anything or anybody for granted on this show. So anyway, my main problem with whole Tyrese's death here is just that Tyrese died because he wasn't paying attention in a situation where, by all rights, he would have really been paying attention. Tyrese knows there's at least one damn zombie in that house. Instead, he gets distracted by these pictures on the wall, and that's what allows the kid zombie to sneak up. I'm like, come on, man. Tyrese has gotten through crazier crap than that and come out alive, and it just feels like BS to me. Anyway, let's talking about some of the other details here, and this is one I think a lot of people might have missed. If you notice in the background when they're sort of walking around the state after they first arrive, you see some graffiti that says, "The wolves are near." So you got to wonder, who killed all these people? Who hacked up those bodies and threw them in the back of the truck? I mean, why in the world would you do that? I mean, at this point you have to know they're going to reanimate. So again, what are reanimated torsos to anybody? So this doesn't really ring any bells from the comics. So I think they're kind of just doing going to be doing a sort of mini boss episode, mini boss bad guy or something to sort of round out the season, and then most likely they're just saving Negan, the other really major bad guy they have yet to bring on for season 6. And of course, if you're reading the comics, you might just have an idea of who they might be saving for the major bad guys of season 7, although these characters were only just recently been introduced to. So yeah, I will say, I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, these people are seriously messed up big time. So yeah, and just sort of stepping away from Tyrese to sort of look at other people's reaction. Glenn and Rick sort of had that comment about how we're doing this, we're bringing Noah here mostly because this is what Beth would have wanted, and just sort of hardening their already cynical worldview. And oddly enough, if of all people it's Michonne who sort of jumps in this moment of irrational hope that this housing development could be rebuilt into a real safe haven for them. And of course, this is quickly proven to be completely and utterly false. I think this is just kind of her reaction to Beth's death, is that she's just desperate for something that even seems like hope, while Glenn and Rick are just like, oh god, we are so effed right now. The world, we're just so hugely effed. And let's see. It is a little sad we never got to see another moment between Carol and Tyrese before he died. That's a real shame. And another thing that folks might have missed is just when they start to take Tyrese out of the truck and they lay him down on the road for the first, just after he's obviously died, you sort of see Michonne kind of pulling on her sword a little bit. I have a feeling that she's probably the one who made sure Tyrese wouldn't be getting up again. And they just didn't show it to us on camera. And of course, this is sort of more than a little fitting, as it was Tyrese who made sure that Bob wouldn't be getting up again after he passed. So I don't really think we would have needed to see a scene like that again. So I'm kind of okay with them just sort of implying who was it that made sure Tyrese wouldn't be getting up again, and just sort of left it at that. So all in all, I'd have to say that despite some really wonky stuff with the dialogue that didn't really work, and Tyrese dying because of wool gathering, basically, that this is still a pretty solid episode. I definitely enjoyed it, and it's definitely a punch to the gut that people really would not see coming. And I think it sort of sets a nice tone for the remainder of the season. That things are really, really gonna get worse before they get better. But of course, if you're familiar with the comics, you know there just might be a tiny bit of light at the end of this tunnel. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for you this time around. As always, please comment, rate, and subscribe. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Who's Your Jedi. Until next time, take care and have a good one.